Hey, fourth graders, we're going to do some reading today about our West region. So I want you to follow along and I want you to highlight when Mrs. Hagen highlights. We are going to be reading about the geography of the region. So we are going to start with mountains. Can you highlight mountains? The Rocky Mountains, I bet you've heard of those, are the most significant geographic feature of the West region. Very important sentence. These mountains stretch from Canada to New Mexico in the Southwest region. They are over 3,000 miles long and are the largest mountain range in the United States. We should highlight that they're the largest mountain range in the United States. And over here is where you're going to see some of the things that we're talking about. So I can see the Rocky Mountains right here. And then they're going to talk about some of these other places as we go. And then when we do our next skill page, you're going to need to come back and look at that map. Okay? And they've got a picture here of the Rocky Mountains. The Coast Ranges is a mountain range that stretches from Washington to California along the Pacific coast. So I can look up and I can see the Coast Range right here. You could highlight it. It's right there along the Pacific Ocean. Most of this mountain range consists of low hills, but some parts rise as high as 8,000 feet. The Sierra Nevada Mountains, another mountain range, runs along the eastern part of California. So let's go up to our map and find that, the Sierra Nevada. Okay. Between the Central Valley and the Great Basin. The Sierra Nevada features dramatic landscapes with forests, rivers, valleys, and canyons. It sounds like a fun place to visit, doesn't it? And you've got some pictures here of the Yosemite Falls over here. Now we're going to read about some lakes. The Great Salt Lake is located in Utah and is one of the largest lakes in the U.S. Very important. The lake is 75 miles long and 35 miles wide. The Great Salt Lake is salty because it does not have any outlets. This can be attributed to the rivers, which constantly bring in small amounts of salt in their freshwater flow. Once the water reaches the Great Salt Lake, most of it evaporates, leaving only the salt behind. So it's very salty. And they've got a picture of it there. Looks pretty cool. And then we can go up to our map, and it is right here, right there, the Salt Lake. And you're going to need to spot those things when we get to the homework part. So now turn to the next page. We have just a little bit more reading. All right, now we're going to read about plateaus and deserts. Highlight that. The Intermountain region is located between the Rocky Mountains and the Coast Ranges. You can go back and highlight that Intermountain region. It is an arid area, and we can talk about that word. Arid means that it's very dry and does not get a lot of rain. So it's an arid area with plateaus and basins. The Columbia Plateau is located in the north of the West region. You'll see that on your map as well, and was formed by the volcanic lava and drained by the Columbia River. The Colorado Plateau is located in the southern part of the West region and was formed by the Colorado River. So we've got the Columbia Plateau right here and the Colorado Plateau that they're talking about. The Great Basin is the largest desert in the United States. A basin is a landform which is shaped like a bowl. The land of the basin is lower than the land around it. It covers parts of Nevada, California, Oregon, Idaho, and Utah. The desert is bordered by the Sierra Nevada Range on the west, the Rocky Mountain on the east, the Columbia Plateau to the north, and the Mojave and Sonoran Desert to the south. The Great Basin is a cold desert, so that's kind of unusual because of its high elevation, at least 3,000 feet. Death Valley is part of the Mojave Desert. It is a very hot region, okay, with temperatures often reaching or exceeding 100 degrees. That's pretty hot, isn't it? Okay, and then remember that Alaska and Hawaii are also in our west region. So when you're memorizing your states and capitals, don't forget about them. Okay, so we're going to read about them. Alaska and Hawaii are remotely located. Okay, you know when you look at a map, they're kind of off on their own, aren't they? So that's what it means by remotely located. Because of their remote locations, they have different geographical features than the other states. Alaska is a very cold place and has numerous mountain ranges that crisscross the area. The Brooks Range is the northernmost range, so that's one of them, the Brooks Range. And then the Alaska Range is a mountainous area in the south of the state, which is home to the highest point in North America. Very important. So the highest point in North America is Mount McKinley. Maybe you've heard of it. It goes up to 20,320 feet. Pretty cool, right? The northern part of Alaska is a cold and flat area without many trees. This type of landscape is known as the tundra. Very important. Hawaii consists of 8 main islands. The islands were formed by volcanic eruptions. That's important too, isn't it? Okay, between 300,000 and 4.5 million years ago. The island state has 5 active volcanoes. That's interesting too, isn't it? So we had a lot of reading today, guys. I'm not going to have you do the skills page yet on page 6, so you can just, what would be great is if you highlighted what I did, if you could just take a picture of the highlighting so that I know that you listened to the video, that would be awesome. Thanks, guys.